In the ancient world, all cultures had their own food customs. But to them, they were not just customs. There were whole schools of thought and philosophy connected to each culture's food rules. When it came to the Jewish people, wow, just read Leviticus chapter 11, and you'll see what they had to be insistent about when it comes to their food restrictions. So when we get to Romans 14, we have to remember the depth of philosophical disagreement on food laws amongst new Christians. Now jump to the year 57 AD, when Romans, Greeks, and Hebrews were becoming followers of Jesus, and they were worshiping together, and they were fighting and bickering politically, socially, and spiritually over what each other ate, how their food was prepared, and how it was served. It wasn't a small disagreement. It was actually causing division in the church and causing people to lose their faith. Not the disagreement, but the division was causing them to lose faith. So the Apostle Paul tells them in Romans 14:1, accept other believers who are weak in the faith. Don't argue with them about what they think is right or wrong. Now keep this verse in context of verse 1. He's not talking about morality, right or wrong. He's talking about food customs and traditions. When Jews became Christians, many still would be concerned about the proper preparation of food according to their laws. These restrictions made it impossible for Jewish and Gentile believers to even sit down at a meal together. But the problem wasn't only for the Jews, it was also for the Gentiles. They'd been converted from worshiping false idols. They were spiritually against eating meat that had come from the market because the meat may have originated in an idol worship ceremony, so they didn't want to eat meat that the Jews were bringing from the market to the church dinners. So Paul's very clear in Romans 14:14 and teaching all of them, no food in and of itself is wrong to eat, and their opinions about the religious, social, and spiritual implications of food is not as important as their relationship with their brothers and sisters in Christ. I see a potential challenge happening for Christians today. People are starting to disagree and quarrel over the political, social, and spiritual implications of wearing a mask or not wearing a mask. We've all heard the arguments. We've seen the posts from both sides and everything in between. One example, you're not a loving Christian if you don't wear a mask. Jesus would wear a mask to protect other people. On the other side, a Christian is not going to allow the government to manipulate us with data and determine our mask-wearing behavior and tell us what to do. We trust God. So Greg, are you going to say we should wear masks or shouldn't wear masks? I'm not saying either one. I'm taking us to the larger point of, brothers and sisters, the same principles from Romans 14 apply to the implications in our different churches over the different mask arguments. And Paul gives us clear guidelines. The first one's critical. Don't make the mistake of equating opinion or preference with biblical teaching. Opinion and preference about food restrictions and laws and food laws is not biblical teaching, and Paul makes that clear to the Gentiles and the Jews. And the second point he makes is make every effort in verse 19 to do what leads to peace and mutual edification. He goes on to say, so then let us aim for harmony in the church and try to build each other up. Don't tear apart the work of God over what you eat. I would add to that, don't tear apart the work of God over masks. Let's allow unity for the cause of Christ to be our witness and not allow masks to divide us.